gonna go write a million songs if that's the way to be. I'll write a classic to beat them all and go down in history. I'll be the one to reach the stars, but only if you're with me tonight, 'cause that'll be the life. I'm gonna go write a million songs if that's the way to be. I'll write a classic to beat them all and go down in history. I'll be the one to reach the stars, but only if you're with me tonight, 'cause that'll be the life. 'Cause that'll be the life. 'Cause that'll be the life.
Hello again and welcome to episode 47 of Main Street Martin and part 4 of our September 2024 week in Malta, staying in the coastal resort of Sliema. In this final episode from the trip, we visit the oldest part of Malta, known as the Three Cities, and explore Vittoriosa. Don't forget you can still check out all of the previous episodes right here, featuring theme parks, cruises, city breaks and much more in the United States, Mexico, Europe and beyond. And if you enjoy any of the videos, please make sure you click on the like button, ring the notification bell to be informed of any future episodes, and if you possibly can, it would really help the channel if you can subscribe. Now at the end of this episode, I'll run through my top 10 tips and recommendations to give you some ideas if you're planning a stay in Malta. So good morning from Sliema, it's our final day and we've come to the tea rooms before we head across the road to get the hop on hop off bus, which will then take us to Victoriosa. But first, after a mid-morning coffee here at the tea rooms just off the main promenade in Sliema, we're off to Victoriosa, using our 4-day Leisure Plus pass again on the hop-on hop-off bus. The town of Victoriosa is in the oldest part of Malta, referred to as the Three Cities, which also consist of Sanglia and Cospicua, 3 fortified towns built in very close proximity to each other around the Grand Harbour. This town played an important role in Maltese history, serving as the capital city of Malta between 1530 and 1571 until Valletta was built. The knights wisely built Fort St Angelo here because of its strategic position overlooking the Grand Harbour. The fort is best known for its role as the knights' headquarters during the Great Siege of Malta in 1565. In fact, 4 of the Grand Masters are actually buried in its chapels. A major reconstruction took place in the 1690s, giving the fort its current appearance. Welcome to the beautiful city of Victoriosa, which is absolutely stunning, just opposite Valletta. Quite a journey to go round the bay to get here, but when you do, it's absolutely fabulous. So over by there where the Regent ship is moored is actually Valletta, and that was the lift that we took up to the upper Baracca Gardens. So this is the Fort St. Angelo. As well as being the Knights' headquarters during the Great Siege of Malta in 1565, this fort was later garrisoned by the British Royal Navy from 1800 to 1979, at times being classified as a stone frigate known as HMS Egmont or later HMS St. Angelo. The fort suffered considerable damage during World War II, but it was later restored. And today, Fort St. Angelo offers spectacular panoramic views of the Grand Harbour and its surrounding fortified towns. You can explore at your own leisure, take in the immersive displays and various architectural styles of the fort, together with staggering examples of artillery. Oh, and by the way, it's supposed to be haunted by a number of ghosts.
Are the lofty vaults built into Ferrolino's Cavalier, hosting 3 complementing immersive experiences offered by the site location of the fort for the control of the Grand Harbor. Undoubtedly.
Malta served as the main base for the Mediterranean fleet. The entire fleet could moor in its formidable harbours here. And the British military base here was closed on the 31st of March 1979. Vittoriosa is also known as Burgu, and there is so much to do here, from the Malta at War and Maltese maritime museums to the Inquisitor's Palace, from the waterfront to the narrow winding streets of the Colacchio. The historic Vittoriosa waterfront contains the former palace of the General of the Galleys and the Order of St John's Treasury. We thoroughly enjoyed our day in Vittoriosa, or Burgu, and as we said earlier, we arrived there using the hop-on hop-off bus. There are a number of ways that you can get to and from Vittoriosa. On the way back though, we decided to take this small boat back to Valletta and then get the ferry from Valletta back to our hotel in Sliema. This was a fun and inexpensive way of getting back to Valletta. The owner of the boat was telling us the history of the company and the fact that the business had been in the family for 4 generations now, and he had 4 different boats. But it was a 15-minute journey before getting back to Valletta, and then the 10-minute journey on the ferry from Valletta back to Sliema. So before we leave Malta, here are my top 10 tips and recommendations to help you plan your next trip. The first tip is that we found the Leisure Plus Pass really useful. It gave us access to some sites and museums, plus the use of the hop-on hop-off bus for 4 days, and the day excursion by catamaran to Gozo and Camino. Now, if that pass doesn't work for you, there are a number of other options, so take a look at the IC Malta website, and it's worth adding that public transport is excellent too, and reasonably priced, and we also used public buses, ferries and small boats to get around. Tip number 2 is to make sure you allow plenty of time to explore Valletta. The capital of Malta has so much to see and do, and I really believe the best way to explore the city is on foot. We spent 2 whole days there and still didn't see everything. Tip number 3 is that we would certainly recommend our hotel and resort. The Palace is part of the AX group of hotels, and when we booked was reasonably priced for what is a 5-star accommodation. The room was comfortable and spacious with a large balcony, the choice of bars and restaurants was excellent, and the other facilities included indoor and rooftop pools, a spa, gym and much more. Tip number 4 is that Sliema was also perfect for us, with easy access to Valletta, buses and excursion ferries. It has a promenade which follows the curve of the coastline to nearby St Julian's and St Paul's Bays, and there are plenty of places to shop, eat and drink. For tip number 5, if I'm honest, we never really had a bad meal in Malta wherever we ate. Our hotel came with breakfast, but the snacks and meals we had elsewhere were all good. However, our favourite restaurant was Lou's, which is on the main seafront road in Sliema. The meals were excellent and not expensive, the atmosphere was great, and the service was first class. For tip number 6, we have to mention the most picturesque place we visited was the Blue Lagoon on Camino. It's well worth a visit, but be prepared for crowds when you go, especially in the peak season. You can soak up the sun here, swim, snorkel or just go for a ramble around the tiny island. There are public toilets and a number of food trucks here as well, but be aware there isn't much shade. For tip number 7, I'd say wherever you go in Malta on any of the islands you'll find churches, cathedrals and basilicas. Each one is unique and fascinating to visit. Some have an admission fee, others are free to enter. I'd recommend the St Paul's Co-Cathedral in Valletta and the Basilica in Mosta as 2 examples, but we visited many. Tip number 8 is that Mdina was a highlight for us. It's picturesque with fabulous views and has a more relaxed feel than other parts of Malta. The ancient former capital has palaces, historic churches and is a maze of narrow medieval streets. Now tip number 9 is, if I offered you a fizzy Maltese bittersweet soft drink and told you it was brewed from bitter oranges and extracts of wormwood, you may not be too keen. But I rather enjoyed Kinney. Other local things to try include the national beer of Malta, Chisk, and the pastizzi with various fillings from cheese to a peas paste. You'll also find fish and rabbit dishes everywhere and a traditional stew called fencata. And finally, for tip number 10, choose the time of year very carefully. We went in September and it wasn't too busy, while temperatures were in the mid to late 20s Celsius, hitting 30 degrees a couple of times. In fact, Malta's weather is perfect in spring and autumn. On the other hand, during the very hot summer months, villages come to life with religious festivals and outdoor concerts. I can't believe we've never been to Malta before, but we'll certainly be going back. It has something for everybody with its rich history and culture, stunning architecture, picturesque scenery and a multitude of leisure activities. Well, I hope the mini-series has been helpful, but that's it for now, and it would really help the channel if you could subscribe. We have more city breaks, holidays and cruises planned, including a Christmas market break in Salzburg. But in the meantime, take a look at the other videos on the channel featuring Caribbean and Mediterranean cruises, plus our visits to eco parks and theme parks in Mexico, the United States and Europe. And you'll also find city breaks in the UK and Europe, as well as short breaks providing top tips, hints and ideas. If you enjoy any of the videos here, you can also help the channel by clicking on the like button and ringing that notification bell. And if you want to find out where we're off to next, make sure you join me next time for episode 48 of Main Street Martin.
I'm gonna go write a million songs if that's the way to be. Hour in a class to beat them all and go down in history.